Small dog chasing big cars. My name is Werner Puchert, and this is Finding Frequency. Man, I don't speak too often about the detail of my work, but I noticed something about myself the last couple of weeks is that some of the work that I do really entails doing project management kind of work. Um, and because I work for quite senior people, a lot of the attitude with some of these senior people are get shit done. So even when I was working at the firm, usually you don't question those instructions. It's not like you are a dumbass. Of course, you will question stupid instructions, but when the instructions make sense and there is an outcome and you have to get to that outcome, my temperament is that I will chase said outcome and I will try and deliver as closely as possible to that outcome. But I've seen now that because I've been lucky to work in very structured organizations up until this point, chasing that outcome and making sure it gets delivered worked. And now, unfortunately, it's not working that well because even though the outcome is definitely required and makes sense, a lot of the instructions and systems and processes in between is not in place for a lot of the clients that I'm working with. So some people don't know that this instruction's been issued, or there hasn't been a clear brief, or nobody knows what's actually going on. There's misunderstanding because some people think that they're going to do it and other people don't know that it's even happening. And it's interesting because I'm now in the middle of this, chasing this instruction or chasing this outcome like a little dog. And the only thing I can think of is that, as I always say in this podcast, is that you can't change everybody else. You can only change yourself. Is that I'm going to have to slow down. I'm going to have to really slow down and lift my head up and look around and try and get a better lay of the land. Because if you're going through, if you're riding on a road full of potholes, you need to slow down. You're going to hit a pothole. And I've been hitting a few potholes and wasting time. And but I'm not negative. I think it's quite a nice learning curve. And talking about learning curves, I haven't been able to get on my longboard for the last 2 days. And what is today? It's Wednesday. Wow. So this morning I quickly jumped out to do like just under an hour of longboarding. And I don't want to turn this podcast into Werner talks about longboarding. But there's analogies and interesting things that I enjoy with this whole longboard thing. And I hope you can understand what I'm saying, because it could be relevant for anything. If you take up knitting or whatever your kind of hobby is, or the thing that takes your mind off things. I know my dad is an avid woodworker. He creates all kinds of magical things in his garage during the day. And I think I understand why he's doing that. And same with my mom with all her little projects, is that when you get involved with these things, your mind is kind of off of the big picture. You're not thinking about pandemics and work. For that moment while you're working on this thing and focusing on it, you're just in that moment concentrating on what's going on. And the thing that I've learned about this whole longboarding thing now is that I have to comment again that I did see my ass again this morning quite heavily, and this time from a static board just falling off. So yesterday I sat down and I thought, okay, I need to be a bit more structured. I need to write down what it is that I want to achieve with this. So like, what is a few of the small little things that I would like to be able to do on this longboard to feel like I'm progressing. So I've now gotten to a point that I can actually go forward and go around a corner and relatively easily stop. However, I still need a lot of practice with a lot of these final things. So for example, one of the things that I want to do is I want to do a 180-degree pivot on the board. And that's when I saw my ass this morning, because I realized a few things. First of all, I realized that some of the basic things I wasn't really able to do. And then stepping up to the next level, trying this 180-degree pivot was definitely, even though I would really still try and continue doing that, I probably tried to do that way too early in the game. I had to do, and I have to master a few of the more fundamental things first. And then also, I realized that when I fell off and I really saw my ass good and well outside of the outside here, and I wonder if the neighbors saw. But the thing is that you need to get up and really get back in and try again. And I did try a few times, still failed. And I feel like it's getting to this point, while it's probably still a bit too early to have this, but I don't know if you've ever felt this, is that when you try and master a skill, you get to a point where there's this massive dip where it just ain't working. And this morning it wasn't working at all. I tried a few things and it just wasn't working. And I felt a little bit frustrated. Now, in this case, it's way too early to feel that frustration because I still have to do a lot more writing. But I've recognized this in myself before where this frustration hits, and it's really important to try and work through that frustration, because the only way that you can master this or continue to grow is to really just continue working through that and trying to go past this point, because through work you'll be able to reach that. And then the other thing that I think, and based on my opening statements about chasing this little car and without just getting to this point of getting things done, I think what I've done is also, when I started writing down the things that I want to do, is that I sometimes realize that I write things down and it's not really achievable. Especially in the time span. It's achievable over time if I do this and I spend the time, but I'm not going to do 6-7 tricks within 1 week. I have to give myself the opportunity to have the space. And I think this is also something that's been very tough during this pandemic, is the fact that there's so much that I want to get done. And even with my conversation, and I mentioned in the previous episode, I had a very good conversation with my cousin last night. And I think part of this wanting to get things done, we both are in kind of a space where we are super grateful for what we have, and the ability to be able to work and engage with people across the globe and still be able to do things and be employed. We feel like we are not really moving forward. We're not, what is beyond this? What is the element of growth that we need? And I think just reflecting on that conversation and thinking about things is perhaps part of the problem, is that we are once again just trying to push and, want things to happen really, really fast, and want to see results. And unfortunately, I think in the time that we are living now, is that the results, or at least an indication of where we're going to go, is still potentially months away. And at the moment, it's just about retaining momentum. Keep on doing what you need to do. And even if it isn't at the pace that you want it to be, I don't know if I'm making sense here. I'm trying to motivate myself too. It's just continue doing this thing. And it's been hard. And I think the thing is, it's also not being too hard on yourself. I mean, I do look around me sometimes, and I had an email again from another friend this morning who's just completed a training platform that she's put together, and I'm super stoked and super impressed about what she's achieved. And then I feel a little bit inadequate that I haven't done that. I haven't created anything like a platform or any product or anything. And I had so much time during this pandemic. But then I also feel like it's unfair for us, for me, you, to put this pressure on ourselves. Sometimes it's just okay to slow down. It's okay to sit on the stoop and just observe and think about things. And, as long as we don't fall into this like space of depression or laziness, I think it's okay. I don't know. I'm not preaching. I'm asking. I think it's okay. It'll be okay. What else do I have to share? What's happening in Poland? I have no clue. I'm still sitting here in the room. I have no idea what the basic updates are. Some friends have asked about my father-in-law and a quick note. And once again, thanks for all the positive notes that I've received. The thing is, he has gone into a second operation now. Apparently, it's a maintenance operation. And he's still in a coma. It's an induced coma. Apparently, it's not something it's not uncommon to keep someone under. There's a lot of pain involved in what the treatment that he's receiving, and they're saving him from dealing with that pain. So we've been told that this induced coma can still last for a strong couple of weeks. It's also brought up a case for us where Marta and I, we are taking a break next week where we want to take Francie for his first camping trip. Something that we're really looking forward to, but we also had to deal with the fact that, what if something happens? You're welcome to judge us or make your own comments, but we've decided to continue to take the time to go away. We've shortened our trip slightly, making it 2 nights where we're going to be taking Francie on a little camping adventure. So hopefully that is the right decision. Time will tell. But we did discuss potentially canceling the whole thing and waiting around. But as things are, it seems that he is stable. We're not that far away that we can't react if something happens. But honestly, this crazy situation at the moment that you can't even go into hospital, and the information coming out there is so drip. We don't know. So yeah, that in itself is also a tough decision to have made. And once again, part of what I said before, step by step. It's difficult to look beyond the horizon at the moment, and perhaps that's also okay. I don't know. I really don't know if I should be putting more pressure on myself. In fact, also what I've been doing is that I've been curating a lot of the content that is flying my way. My inbox is full of do the right thing, put in the time, put shoulder to the wheel, do more effort. And you know what? I can't be bothered. I've got some work that I have to do. And at the moment, for me, it's just about staying in the race. I'm happy to pursue and activate more things, but I'm waiting for the right time, for the right moment for that to happen, because there's a lot of other things that I want to focus on. I don't know how you feel. I feel like I'm preaching to someone, and it's kind of how the conversation went with my cousin last night, and he echoed a lot of what I said. But perhaps we need to broaden our insights and get more input. I hope you're doing well. I really hope that you're doing well and that things are looking up for you. There's so many other opportunities out there, and when I speak to folks, like I know there are people, and specifically in my case, where we're kind of like biding our time. There are people who are struggling, but then there are people out there who are reactivated and flourishing, and that in itself is also inspirational. So I'm peering over to my screen here, and I'm about to go into my next phone call. I hope that the noise from outside wasn't too bad in this recording. I just couldn't be bothered to get up and close the window. It's just way too hot here in Warsaw at the moment. A little bit of a fresh breeze just makes life in my little home office much more bearable. Thanks for listening.